Merry belated Christmas, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas 2022. I certainly did. And as a yearly tradition, I'm here once again to show you everything that I acquired for this year. So, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to begin with some items that were not necessarily Christmas gifts, but you guys did see them in the pic that I posted on Instagram as well as Twitter. And I think I'm going to start right here with this guy right here. Now, all of you guys know him. He's a classic character who appeared right at the tail end of CGI, and that is Bulgy the Bus. This is actually a model from, you guys know him as RWS 12, or RWS NWR 12, aka Val. He was the April 2022 Thomas Tuesday guest with a massive HO layout, and he was selling this Bandai Bulgy as I believe he decided that for his layout he would like to have more of a railway series look instead of a TV series look, especially when it came to road vehicles, and so Bulgy was one of those characters, of course, and when I saw it on eBay I certainly jumped at the opportunity, and he did a wonderful job. As you can see, it's not a stock standard Bandai Bulgy, although it is technically the Bandai Bulgy, but he sprayed it with a matte coat. He took out the people so that there are now hollow windows here. So you can see I can stick my finger in there. And I plan to give it some windows there so that it looks a little more realistic. But last but not least, he also weathered the thing. So if you look carefully, there's some areas where it's a little more black. And just all in all, I'm just really, really pleased with this model. And it's nice to finally have one of these in the flesh, because it really is a nice model, and scales really nicely with HO as far as being TV series accurate is concerned. So yeah, that's an autumn purchase, I guess we'll call it. Next is something from my good friend George. You guys know him as Bowled Out 95, but that is this Season 4 accurate Rusty. And he was doing these commissions on Twitter. I believe that he may still be doing them today. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just a beautiful, beautiful representation of Rusty, as us classic Thomas fans will remember. You know, he's got the smaller face in the front, that nice model series face. Yeah, for whatever reason, my camera's not focusing, so just give me a sec. Alright, yeah, I know the lighting isn't the greatest, so I apologize, but there it is. See, so it's just very accurate to Season 4 and 5 there, and the shape too is a little bit different. I believe it runs on a Kato chassis and runs beautifully too, and all in all, I just want to thank George so much for this wonderful model. It's weathered really nicely too, you know, if you look carefully, so that's a nice addition to the collection, and most likely in TSS as well as future remakes, this is the model of Rusty that I will be using, so stay tuned for that. Alright, and then also from George, Bowled Out 95, which I don't believe you guys saw in the Christmas presents pic that I posted on YouTube, excuse me, not YouTube, on Twitter and Instagram, is this right here. Now, not the whole James model, but the face. This, too, is a face that I bought from George, I believe back in October. It may have been a little bit earlier, but when he was selling these faces, I jumped at the opportunity because I couldn't believe how good they looked. The paint job is always a challenge when it comes to these faces, and George did a wonderful job, as you can see. I love the shade of gray he used for the face. The white teeth look wonderful. The eyebrows look great, and the pupils are posable, or excuse me, not the pupils, but the eyeballs rather are posable. So I could have James looking to the right, to the left, and yes, for those of you who are wondering, this is also the new 2022 James. Or 2021, I guess it was, when they finally corrected this right here. So yes, this is a new James model that will be seen in Season 2 of TSS, as well as future remakes. But all in all, I'm just very, very happy to have this model. And there you have it. You know, there's something about those model era faces, man, that the CGI faces just don't have. And those of you who know me well know that I hate CGI faces. So I'm always a model era guy, and yeah, those who didn't know that, now you know. So, alrighty, and that's pretty much it as far as gifts that I kind of acquired in the fall. So now I'm going to go into gifts that I acquired, like they were technically Christmas gifts, and I'm going to start with this one right here. because it's definitely one of the more expensive ones, and I'm very grateful to receive this from my friend Jacob K. down in Louisiana, and that is a brand new Bachman Gordon. Now, you guys are probably wondering, why on earth do you have a new Gordon model when you clearly had another Gordon model that was seen in, your old remakes and TSS episodes? And well, a few reasons. One is that, I'll actually pull them out right over here. My old model has a very screwed up eyeball, and some of you may be looking at that and thinking to yourself, that's an easy paint job, or that's an easy job. Why on earth would you go and buy a brand new Gordon model just to change the eyeball? Well, that's something that I was thinking about doing, but then when I considered the other factors, which I'm just about to state, it made me realize, I probably should get a new Gordon model. So the second reason is the performance. My old Gordon, as much as I'd oil him and, run him in and everything, he just does not run well anymore, and he's just very bumpy on the rails. It's nearly impossible to get him to run very smoothly around the layout one time. So I thought to myself, you know what? I also, thirdly, need a scrap Gordon, because I never ever acquired a scrap Gordon. As you know, in the TV series, there have been many times in the smelters yards and scrap yards that you would see a scrap Gordon. So I think what I'm going to do with my old Gordon is take it apart and paint it brown, weather it up so that it looks like a scrap model of Gordon. So that's the story behind that. And once more, here's a look at the new Gordon that Jacob got for me. There's the face. Once again, I applaud Bachman for keeping that wonderful model era face and not going to the CGI, because the model era faces, in my opinion, look so much better. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit because, yeah, there we go. There are the side rods. And I tested him out. He does perform beautifully, just like a new model should. And yeah, you guys, you will be seeing him in use for TSS Season 2, as well as other videos. So, once again, Jacob, thank you so much for this model. I look forward to using it in future videos. And yeah, that is Gordon. Alright, now we'll move on to this one Christmas card that I acquired from another friend in Pennsylvania. You'll know him as Plowbender these days, but that is the Season's Greeting Christmas card. He is very interested in My Little Pony, so that's why he's got a character on the front here. I believe this is Fluttershy, if I'm not mistaken. I, on the other hand, I'm not much of a My Little Pony fan, so I apologize if I was incorrect there, but anyhow, wrote this funny little note here, because this is the season when you buy this year's gifts with next year's money. So, and then from Corey right there. So yeah, Corey, if you are watching this, thank you so much for the card. I appreciate the gesture here, and I know I'm looking forward to seeing your HO layout that you're planning to start in your basement in the coming months. That's going to be really awesome. And yeah, just wanted to bring this up in the stream or the video while I could. So thank you again. Alright, and then the next gifts come from my friend Christian Pham. You guys might know him as Gordon Pacific 04. He was previously known as an Average Thomas fan, but he actually got me some DVDs that I never had as a kid. One of them being right here, The Holiday Express. This was a really interesting release that came out, back in, I want to say 2009, and it has all sorts of model era episodes, including ones from the classic series as well as hit era. And it's just nice to have to the collection, I think it has some episodes too from the hit era that have never been released on a DVD, so I look forward to watching that at some point. Another one is The Greatest Stories, right here. See nice crisp shots of all the engines there. And I'm going to say it again, as much as people like to hate on the hit era, I gotta say that the model work is still really, really nice to look at. And it's clear that they still put in the effort where the effort was needed when it came to model work. So it's just a different impression overall. And then lastly, Engine Friends, which I believe was one of the last model era releases ever on DVD. And this one too has a bunch of hit era episodes that have never been released on DVD. So I really look forward to watching this one too. So once again, Christian, thank you so much. And actually, I almost forgot, he also got me this book, which too is a bunch of hit era episodes, but it's just really nice to look through these books, guys, because there's some really nice shots from the episodes there. Like there's a shot from the Magic Lamp. Let's see, what's another good shot? The wonderful shot here of James. Yeah, sorry, my camera here. I'll try to lift it up here. Right there. Let's see what we got here. And then, oh, that's a beautiful shot. Look at that. James by the Canal. Again, as much as people, I know, don't care for the hit era because of the stories being more mediocre than the classic series, which absolutely I do agree, you got to admit that the model era, the models still made it very appealing to watch. And that's people need to understand that writing is not everything. That's something a lot of people, I feel, forget these days. So. And of course, Thomas at Action Canyon, who could forget that? Back when the Great Discovery was the latest special, and the merchandise was 10 times better than what it is today. But that's a whole conversation for another time, which I'm not going to get into now. But anyways, so Christian, if you're watching this, thank you so much for the book as well as DVDs. Those will certainly come in handy. All right. And the next few gifts come from my friend John, aka Thomas J219 from California. He knew that I needed some pack characters that I was missing. And he bought me I asked for just one of these, but he just went all out and bought me two. Brand new in the box. We have Byron here. So this is one of the few I was missing. It's the Trackmaster model because I believe this is the best Byron you'll get that scales with HO. And I'm really looking forward to opening up and adding it to the layout. So that's one right there. And then Kelly, the crane. So John, if you're watching this, man, I really appreciate you getting me not just one, but two of these. In addition to that, getting these new in the box, because frankly, I just asked him for one of them, and as long as it was in good condition, that's all I needed. But the fact that he went the extra mile and got me these both brand new in the box, I mean, it just really speaks to how nice of a gesture this was from him. So I really appreciate it, man. These will be used on my layout and in future episodes. So thank you, John. Thank you. All right, put those off to the side there. Let's see. And then here is another gift from, not necessarily a gift, but something I purchased at the Edison Train Show back in November from Jack, aka Bluebells 5529. And that is a third Bachmann blue carriage. This is something that I've been meaning to get ever since I got the first two blue carriages, because I always wanted to have a third, and finally I have it. So this, again, will be seen in TSS Season 2 as well as future remakes. I've yet to open it, but John, thank you so much, or Jack, if you're watching this, thank you so much for this coach, because it will be put into great use. It's something I've been looking to get for some time now. And it's definitely one of Bachmann's best models. I mean, look at that shade of blue and just the beautiful design, so thank you. All right. And then the next piece, which I also acquired at the Edison Train Show, is from the Brendan Branch Productions, aka Dylan. We did actually a swap at the show. I gave him some wooden railway items I no longer needed, and then he in return gave me this Hornby Toad brake van, which I actually plan to turn into the Scrap Toad model as seen in the TV series. But as you can see, it's a nice Hornby Railroad Toad brake van. I believe it's the same exact tooling as what they used for their Toad brake van in the Thomas line. But yeah, Dylan, thank you so much for this model. A Toad brake van is exactly what I need in order to make that Scrap Toad replica, so thank you so much, man. Alright. And then we get into the gifts that I just purchased myself, or just family. So we'll start with these two because I got these both from Trainland. One is a new Bachmann Terrence, and those of you who asked me why on earth I acquired a new Terrence, well, right here is my old TSS Terrence that you've seen in the intro of all the TSS episodes and just videos in general. And what happened, unfortunately, is that one of these caterpillars is actually not locked in properly. And as much as I bend it, as much as I try to snap it back into place, it just won't budge, man. So it just looked very unbalanced on Terrence's field. And just as a result, I thought to myself, you know what? Let me get a new Terrence model just so that it doesn't become like a visual distraction in future episodes and such. So that's why this Terrence will be retiring, and this Terrence will be seen in Season 2 of TSS. So that's that. And then the other thing I acquired was another square water tower. And it's really nice that, just to talk for a second about the buildings, this one is still in the line, guys, the Bachman Square Water Tower. And it's, you know, I've talked about this with many friends, but it's really sad to see that the resin buildings have basically faded away from the line, because those are some of the nicest products that Bachman has ever produced. But on the plus side, it's nice to at least see that the Square Water Tower is still in the line, because, once again, it looks just like what you would see in the television series. And if you don't have this model yet, shame on you. Just kidding. If you don't have this model yet, and you're an HO model, I highly recommend it, because it's only like, I believe, like $15 from Train World, and it's a beautiful representation of what you would see in the television series. So get it while you can, because for all we know, Bachman could potentially discontinue this in the coming year as well. But knock on wood, that doesn't happen. Alrighty, so that's that. Oop. Alright. And then we get into some of my favorite Christmas gifts, and these are actually from British model trains. One of them is this gantry, or signal gantry by Ratio, which I plan to add in front of Knapford Station. This is just the gantry part itself. As you can see, it comes as a kit, so I'll have to sit down over the break and put it together at some point. And then here are the GWR post signals, which will go on top of the gantry. As you can see, they come unpainted though, so I gotta go in with some red paint there and paint them like the home signals and then glue them in place. But this is what that is. And then I got these beautiful Oxford die-cast cars from the site. So these pieces, I know while they look very random, they're very similar to what you saw in the model series in the background. A perfect example is if you look at the opening of Time for Trouble at Tidmouth Halt Station. You got Edward pulling in and Thomas going the other way. You look in the background there, you can see some of these cars just sitting in the parking lot at the station. And you know, if you look carefully, you'll kind of recognize the design there. So I got a green one right here, got a blue one right here, a red one right here. And then I was also inspired to look at Percy's Chocolate Crunch, because as we all know, Bachman is coming out now with those chocolate box fans. And this looks like one of the trucks you would see right outside Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory right here. So I picked this one up while I could. And lastly, here is this van right here, which also looks like something you would see in the Thomas series. As a matter of fact, I think it's the same exact vehicle as what you would see when Harold arrives at Callan Station, and I think he's picking up medical supplies, and you got the ambulance right there. This looks just like that, you know. So once again, it definitely represents something from the show, because that's what I go for, you know, when replicating things from the show altogether. So, alrighty, and actually, no, there's two more Christmas gifts right here, but one of them, which I think is probably in the top three when it comes to favorite gifts this year, is this beautiful low-relief church by Bachman Scenecraft in the UK. And this one I was actually inspired to get after watching Caleb Train's video. I think it's called A Day Out with Daisy, something like that. It was one of his recent videos this year. And you actually see this exact church in the background. I actually commented on that video, you know, what church model is that? Because I was very impressed with how it looked in the foreground. So I did some research there, and after you got back to me, and I was able to find a site that had this beautiful model in stock. And I look forward to adding it to the layout wherever. But you know, it definitely looks like one of those churches you would see it from the television series. I always thought of that one shot where Percy travels past, what is it? He's traveling past in the churches, like, it's a season 6 shot from A Bad Day for Harold. Percy's traveling with the mail train, you got the church right in the front. I believe Salty also passes it in Salty's Secret. So that's one area. And then also, you know, Christmas just passed, I thought of the Winter Wonderland song. You got like bells are ringing, ding dong. This sort of looks like that church, you know, with the tower on the left here and that over there. So once again, replicating what I see on the show. That's what I do. So that's that. So yeah. And then last but not least, this is actually from Ryotron. Actually, let me put this back down. Ryotron from California. And that is a replica of Mrs. Kindly. Now, this is the capsule Plurail model that he replicated, and he painted it to look just like the Season 5 model. I'm trying to get my camera to focus on it because it doesn't seem to be focusing for whatever reason. Come on, focus. Alright, well, it's not focusing at the moment, but if you look carefully, there it is. Season 5 paint scheme looks just like Make Someone Happy. And all I'm just really, really happy to have this, and it'll go really nicely with those upcoming Bachman figure packs that are supposed to be released this coming year. So, that is that. And with that stated, those are all my fall, winter, Christmas acquisitions for 2022. So as usual, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm very grateful for everything I acquired this year. Thank you to those who got me gifts and those who just altogether watch this video and give me all the support and friendly comments that you could possibly give. And all in all, I'm just really happy to have friends like you out there, have fans like you out there, and I'm looking forward to making more videos in the future. So stay tuned for that. And that about wraps up this video. So this is Terrence Tractor 525. Hope you all once again had a very Merry Christmas, and thank you very much for watching this video.